Previously in X-Men. After months of wondering if Scott Summers' dreadful suspicions are true, and the Dark Phoenix has returned before him. Each of the X-Men has recently dealt with the smoky edges of a mystery that has led their original field leader, Scott, aka Cyclops, to believe that his new girlfriend is the reincarnation of his old love, the destroyer of an entire solar system, Jean Grey, aka Marvel Girl, aka Phoenix. But was the sight of Jean in costume and aflame before him real or merely an illusion? I am Jason Lapidus.
I am Chris Sanagan.
And we are a group of 7 comics. Welcome to episode 92 of our ongoing Tuesday night live stream read-through of the X-Men comics that became classic. As we read Uncanny X-Men 175 by storytellers Chris Claremont, Paul Smith, newcomer John Romita Jr., inked by Bob Wiacek, cover date of November 1983. Wow. Chris, my friend, how are you?
I'm good. Double issue. This is a big one.
This is a big one. Right off the top, let's say hello to our friend David Cutler. Oh boy, I'm in time for the countdown. Hello, group of X-3. Nice, group of X. I'm out.
I like it. If you're unaware, X is a Roman numeral for 10. And
I didn't know.
What David is doing is a clever play on numerals and words and our name. 7.
So with this issue, you can see on the cover here that it does not say Uncanny X-Men. It says 20th anniversary issue.
X-Men.
So as originally when the series debuted in 1963, it was just called X-Men, not Uncanny X-Men. Mm-hmm. And you and I have been lucky enough to be reading these, the last almost 80 issues. And just over 80 issues actually, and we watched the adjective of uncanny get placed above, and we watched the indicia change so that they are officially called Uncanny X-Men. This one is officially in the indicia called Uncanny X-Men, but on the cover they slipped the 20th anniversary on there, which is fun. Hello, Chuck Dotson. He says, "Oh, I made it on time by showing up an hour early." Oh, cool. Nice. Glad you're here. Last week we were an hour early, and we needed to accommodate my goofy schedule, but I really do like that 9 o'clock time slot. I'm like paced for it in my bones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited to read this one because we've been building up to it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also excited because more Paul Smith is always a good thing, and this is his last issue as the regular penciler on the series. And I have to admit, I'm having some heavy feelings letting him go.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
I did some research into why he left.
Oh, okay.
And it was because he hates anyone named Chris. No.
A common thing.
As the story goes, he was only planning on doing a year on the title. And he did 10 issues, missed one in the middle. So it's sort of 2 runs of 5. And he's like a big Steve Ditko guy, and he always wanted to get on to this guy's series or something like that, like Conan, perhaps. So he goes on to pencil Doctor Strange after this, which is a Ditko series. So he that's what he wanted to get toward, and so it wasn't like there were huge problems. Just he was never a massive fan of X-Men. And he found it exhausting working on the series and wasn't in love with it. So
it does make me want to now track down that Doctor Strange series that follows this.
No doubt. And
you and I have both become enamored with Paul Smith during this last 10 episode-ish run. Without really having talked much about him before.
Right.
Yeah.
So
let's say we had a conversation.
Ahead.
We had a conversation last week where you're mentioning that when we talk about Paul Smith, or when we talk to people about Paul Smith, he tends to be the favorite artist of a certain year range of comic fans, right? When you come in, and that was reinforced this past weekend at the Guelph Comics Jam, where I was talking to some comics cartoon creators, some friends of the show, people like Scott Chandler, who's been on the show, and a few others. And I mentioned Paul Smith, and it was like, oh yeah, that guy's line work. Like it was all that. It was pretty cool.
For sure. David adds, he says the series won't look this good again forever. No, maybe once Silvestri finds his footing. We're going to see snippets, of course, depending on your taste, to this guy's taste, we're going to see some really strong stuff once in a while from Barry Windsor Smith. He'll come on for a few issues here and there. We're going to see Alan Davis for a couple, which are gorgeous. We're going to see Art Adams. Keeping in mind, we're reading annuals too. So we'll see some Art Adams. We are going to see, of course, as you're mentioning there, Mark Silvestri. So we're seeing, and then eventually Jim Lee. And then then the show explodes. So yeah, we're not going to get too far into that.
That's in 4 years' time.
So we've got some time.
Follow us in 4 years.
But there are some great artists ahead, and more Paul Smith actually down the road. Of course, we know that he does pencil the X-Men Alpha Flight limited series, which is sort of the length of about 4 issues. It's 2 double issues. And some of the feedback I was reading online was saying that he penciled it during this time period. And although that is possible, the character designs have changed by the time we're going to get to it around issue 192 or 3. So we've got 20 more issues roughly 18 issues to go. Chuck says, pour one out for Paul Smith. There you go. Okay, I'll do that right now. Hold on. I'll drink one first. Paul Smith. I have not seen his run on Doctor Strange, but obviously, given that it is how really great he is and how much he loves Ditko, I have no doubt that's going to be a really enjoyable read. David adds, I think he also found the comic schedule exhausting. I read somewhere that he'd come back for an issue or 2 of something whenever he needed to repair his motorcycle, but mostly didn't like doing comics. I'm not surprised. Oh, yes. Barry Windsor Smith and Adams. I forgot about fill-ins and annuals. Yeah, we're going to see some really good stuff. But Romita is just solid in this run. He is, we're going to see, like, we're both fans, you and I, of John Romita Jr.'s work. He's one of, I didn't realize this until maybe about 4 years ago. He's one of those pencilers whose work just fills my comic collection. I might have more John Romita Jr. that I enjoy reading than I realized I did. He's he's worked on every title at Marvel, and I just have so much of his stuff. And I find him incredibly readable, even though I don't necessarily like any of his faces or maybe his designs or his anatomy necessarily. It's just like the readability of his work and then the motion. They're lively. And we're going to see really early Romita. So we'll watch him kind of hit a certain stride. Yeah. And then after he leaves X-Men, then he gets onto things like Daredevil, which you and I are fans of too. So he becomes the version that maybe, like, he finds the storytelling chops here, but his figure shapes take hold maybe by the end of the decade. So we were not going to see that happen. He does come back, by the way, onto X-Men after 300, so he has another run back then, but we'll see.
That goes to show you too, just in terms of, I know kind of anecdotally, you realize how much Romita Jr. you have in your library, but I think it also probably speaks to his efficiency or work strategy in terms of output, because he seems to be someone who was prodigious with his output, but probably because he had a system and maybe he had an office system that kind of he was able to leverage for output volume. Yeah,
you've heard him say, have you not heard him say what his style, how he describes his style? The deadline style.
Right. Okay.
And that's it. Like, he's like, whatever I can do in the time that I have. That's it.
Right.
And that's admirable considering that is the industry that he's in. David adds, I love him, but mostly starting with the Punisher or something. And I do like those carved from stone faces. Me too. I really do love his stuff, and I also just kind of love him because he was an up and comer when I was a kid. So he feels of my generation as a reader, and he was the artist on X-Men when I picked up my first X-Men comics. Which, by the way, I realized today after looking for it, my first X-Men comic, without a doubt, is X-Men Alpha Flight #1.
Okay.
I was reading it today, and I see when it came out and where I was at, and it was like it came out when my second Alpha Flight comic got into my hands. So I picked it up off the newsstand. That's my first X-Men, and the opening of it is, without getting into it too much now, it is the most like prototypical. No, not prototypical. Like it has every single element of an introduction to the X-Men that I still. It is imprinted on my DNA. It's what I like about X-Men, and yeah, and Paul Smith is the penciler, so it's neat to see.
That is cool.
David says his second run, meaning that John Romita Jr.'s second run is like this. Yeah, and I think that's also the time period where characters like Bishop are there. So JRJR's Bishop is a solid block of beef. He also does the Cable limited series that Liefeld bailed on Marvel to go, to Image, and
Yes.
he pencils the Cable series with like no time. I think he did an issue in like a day. So there's a lot of Romita Jr. out there, and he does have his loyal fans, and he does have some haters out there. But like, we're gonna just see some really early stuff, and so he's a little bit inconsistent early on, but we're gonna see some cool stuff. Oh my God, look at that! Blood and Metal, so good. Maz, how you doing, man? That's nice to have you here. I hope you had a good time at the Guelph Comics Jam. Did you go? Did Mass come to Guelph?
Yep. Yeah, it was good seeing us there.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's good. Did Mass get to meet? His name just went out of my brain.
I don't know.
Paperback Princess.
Robert Munch.
Robert Munch. Thank you.
I don't know. I think our friend Jason Lowe is the only person I know who got to meet Bob Munch, who was wandering around and bought some comics and then kind of wandered out.
Were you able to put some Group of Seven in?
I didn't know. This all happened afterwards. This all happened. I did not see, but
you didn't just. Oh, you didn't have this yet. Of course,
didn't have it yet. No.
Yeah, I got this Friday afternoon. You had the event on Saturday morning. We did not cross paths on Friday evening because we're in different cities. But yeah, this is now, as we would love to say, oot and a boot. It's here, so I'm super happy to have that in hand, and we can talk about that more another time.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Matt says no, he missed Robert Munch. That is too bad. But there you go. Uncanny X-Men 175. You ready to do this, Chris?
Yes.
Is there anything else we need to talk about before we dive in?
I don't think so. I mean, it's a double issue, so there's we can devote some time to it, but it is a bit longer than our normal issues.
It is a very busy cover, with this is the second time they've given us the tease of the return of Phoenix. And if they ever do it again, it will be kind of really weak. You know what I mean?
Except this cover, yes, but this cover, yes, it's busy, absolutely. But it's like the whole team, like everybody's there, right?
Including
Which is
workout Kitty Pryde.
Well, we've got another costume change, Kitty Pryde costume change. But
this goes to David's point, which from an earlier episode, where like this is part of the reason that Kitty is Kitty, not Shadowcat, not Ariel, not Sprite. Mm-hmm. She's just Kitty Pryde, because if you keep messing with her costumes, she doesn't have iconography, and you keep changing her names, or nothing sticks. She isn't best known by any of those names. She's best known by Kitty Pryde. So,
and the others have been their names since day one.
True. Con Rabbit says, "Wow, this was the first X-Men comic I ever saw." That's crazy. Like it's that time period, right? For so many people.
That's a great first comic that you ever saw. That's a great first image to come to.
Big time.
Action packed.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. And sad that it's Smith's last, but very cool nonetheless. Mm-hmm. All right, let's dive
Even Lockheed's on the cover. Come on, get Lockheed on the cover.
Lockheed is a member. Well, he's not a member of the team because he doesn't like train. They don't actively try and train him,
He's
but
there.
he is an active participant always. David says part of the art problem going forward is we're going in the shooter era. So JRJR and Silvestri are restricted by shooter's obsession with small panels and medium shots. He definitely does inform the way the art looks, but I think it's because he favors readability over style. That's his priority, and it has its graces and also is a limitation. But I do believe, David, that it is within limitations that creativity is actually at its best. Because if we have no limits and we can do anything, if you can do anything, then it's kind of the same as doing nothing. Eventually, there's just you can't measure how creative something is unless there are those restrictions. Like it must be in this case, it must be in 22 pages. It must be done on a monthly schedule. It must be in a 64 color palette. 4 kinds of ink. Like those limitations are what allow these amazing creators to do some memorable work, but that's just my take on it. I don't mind those restrictions. I find them interesting. Like the whole thing, I always bring up the Beatles, like 12-hour recording session for your first record. That's all you get. They do 14 songs in 12 hours on 2 tracks.
There you go.
And that is so cool. Oh no.
Yeah, that's what was going in my head too when you said no, and it's true, truthfully.
Really? Is that a thing? I don't know what that is.
No limits to
Okay, that's not. I'm not interested. All right, we're gonna move on.
All right.
So, and here's a great as you open to the first page.
Yeah, absolutely.
This could be just put in court as evidence number 1 for the Kirby estate. 20 years ago, more or less, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby created the Uncanny X-Men. I love how that's like part of the script for the issue.
Yeah, it seems pretty deliberate.
Yeah. A lot has changed since then. By the way, for today, would you I was just pre-reading.
Yeah.
You got Cyclops, okay? Is that all right with you?
Sure, yeah, I get Cyclops.
It'll help with the balance of moving things along.
Sounds There's so much in this. It's
yeah.
There's a lot in this. All right, you ready for this?
Go for it.
Okay. Get away, Wolverine. I have the tree. Be careful, Peter. It's awful heavy. In my armored form, Katya, I am Sword Steel. I am no danger.
But you, kiddo, are in the flaming way. Either make yourself useful or scoot. Timber!
Why so sad, Storm? The tree was as good as dead from disease.
Once rogue, I believed myself the caretaker of all living things. I should have sensed its illness, but I did not.
Why such a big production, though? Wouldn't it have been easier and faster for me and Colossus to pulverize the tree?
More efficient, less fun. This way, we have an opportunity to exercise both powers and teamwork.
Sugar, you're starting to sound like Professor X. Hey!
Hey, just as we flip pages,
sure.
Just for anyone who's new to the channel, this is their first time. Rogue has just joined the team a couple issues ago, and like what a powerhouse to add, and what a fun power set with the power absorbing abilities. Like it really lends for fun plot devices forever now.
Right.
It's like it allows you to do like really fun twists. Mm-hmm. And just to add another flyer who's super strong,
I guess she's another flyer. Exactly. Yeah.
Blessed goddess. It is gone as suddenly as it appeared. Rogue! Above us! Someone is falling! I was not hallucinating. The Firebird was really here. Rogue and the others saw it as well, just as I did weeks ago in Japan. X-Men 172.
This is very weird, Storm. What's going on?
I wish I knew. I fear we shall soon find out.
Storm, I know this guy. It's Cyclops.
Sorry,
Like, look at that one panel, just like the Storm above Rogue.
Yeah.
And the bodies, this is we're gonna miss about Paul Smith.
Yeah. His forms are
they're twisted,
really
they're
great.
arced, they look great. They just
he's special. He's really special.
Mm-hmm.
We got a Chuck Dodson is saying, "Hi,
hey, hey! If the moon was made of cheese, would you eat it? Hey!"
Nightcrawler, take Cyclops to the infirmary.
There's no time for that, Storm. Did you see? Do you understand? Dark Phoenix has returned.
X-Men, Cyclops, report to me at once in my study.
Professor Xavier.
We're on our way, Professor. Oh, Solar Fox.
Whew.
And so, after donning their costumes, 7 super-powered mutants gather before the man who brought them together and forged them into a team of unsung, often outlaw superheroes, for it might be their last battle.
With your telepathic abilities, Professor, you know of my fears about Madeline Pryor, that she might be some kind of reincarnation phoenix. I was a man possessed. Each time I put my doubts behind me, they reappeared stronger than ever. And last night in Alaska, I asked point blank if she was Jean reborn. In return, I got darn near incinerated by an energy bolt. Last thing I remember, before Rogue caught me outside, was Dark Phoenix standing over me, laughing.
Scott. Sorry. I just always want to say Magneto.
Magneto.
Jean Phoenix loved you, Scott. Why then did she attack? Why heal your wounds, which the images in your mind tell me were agonizing and fatal? Our first step must be to find her and learn her intentions, and from there deal with them. We are facing a cosmic entity, Professor. Phoenix consumed entire star systems. Would it not be wise to summon reinforcements? When I'm convinced of the threat, Storm, I sensed Jean's death years ago, but not this miraculous rebirth. And I should have. Cerebro will amplify my psi talent 100-fold. If Phoenix exists, this will enable me to find her. Look at those analog dials and knobs and But as the system is activated,
he's being electrocuted. I cut the power. Someone cut him loose before he fries. Tovarish, is he alive? Barely. I have to teleport him to the infirmary.
Nightcrawler vanishes from the study. Whoops, wrong voice. Sorry. I'm reading as Xavier.
Okay.
It's the same. It's okay. Nightcrawler vanishes from the study in his characteristic burst of flame and noisome smoke, to reappear almost instantly in the medical complex, buried only 10 meters below the mansion.
This will be a touch and go here, Professor's condition is already critical. I only hope the strain of teleporting didn't make things worse.
While in the mansion above, Cerebro is supposed to have automatic safety systems to prevent attack against that kind of massive feedback. You're the computer whiz, Punkin. Check out the control console, will ya?
You think it was sabotage, Wolverine?
I have a nasty, suspicious mind, and that zap was awfully convenient. It wouldn't hurt to eliminate the possibility.
This is crazy. The safety interlocks have been disengaged. Everything's reversed. The professor's powers were amplified, but instead of projecting his psi energy outwards, Cerebro reflected it back at him. It's almost like he did this to himself.
But how can that be? We saw every move he made. There were no mistakes. The settings were correct.
Well, they ain't now. Is that? No, sorry, that's her. Well, they ain't now. Actually, Storm, there's a simple explanation.
What is it? Cyclops?
Would you
Would you
believe
the end of the world?
By the way, I love how Wolverine's like, I've got a nasty, suspicious, dirty mind.
It's true. Chuck is asking if that's the Cerebro helmet that like Neil Adams designed. For sure. They haven't really done any redesigns of it since then. So they've stuck with it. And, you know, even in the Marvel Legends figure that came out a few years back with Professor X and comes with the Cerebro helmet, that's essentially still the one they use. And I would even say like the one in the movies is very similar to that too. It's neat. It's when something works, it becomes kind of forever. So I'm not sure I get like what actually happened right here, but let's read through and then we'll come back and maybe if there's time, figure out. Like everyone in the chat knows I think what's going on, but I do not understand how. So when there are illusions, there have to be real life things that occur to enable those illusions, like certain effects. So something has to knock Cyclops out, you know, in this moment. And I'm not sure what is going on.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Having read this for the first time, I also was confused by just the sequencing of events and and the outcomes. Like I didn't quite follow it. So
I think I just needed maybe one panel of explanation where like they see the weapons or the tools that the eventual villain has like under his coat, you know?
Sure.
Anyway.
Hi guys.
Okay, sorry. 1, 2, 3.
Hi guys.
Miss me? Phoenix. Yeah, I don't think our voicing is going to work today, but it's okay. I'm happy to read Phoenix or you can. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
You may wear the form of our friend Demoness, but you are not her. Phoenix must have used her own psi powers to sabotage Cerebro. And now she's struck down Scott as well. Her intentions are as clear as crystal. We must counter swiftly with all our strength.
You do Phoenix, because I'll do the call.
An impressive display, Aurora. But what makes you think your lightning will prove any more effective this time than when last we fought?
For mercy's sake, Jean, stop it. You're killing her.
I like how there are these challenges. Like, how do you show lightning bouncing back, you know? So there's that really great one of, like, Storm launching the lightning.
Yeah.
You know, and it's going in the direction of, like, as we read the page. So it's moving across the panel. And then, you know, you lift Jean Grey's arm, which, like, interrupts, literally, the flow from the hand. And then you also have that curve back. So it's like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then these next two faces on Jean, again, like, so much Art Adams in there. But really awesome page overall.
Totally.
Yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. Not really, Peter, not yet. I mean, to play a bit first. Your armored body makes you one of the most formidable X-Men, Colossus. But see what happens when I close my hand thus? My telekinetic power can rend planets asunder, little Russian. It can do considerably worse to you.
No need to bring ethnicity into it, Dark Phoenix. Jeez.
Yeah, those Jean faces are dope, says David.
Peter! Lockheed, we've got to help him. According to our files, Phoenix is composed of pure energy. Maybe my phasing powers can short-circuit her just like they do electrical systems whenever I pass through them. Hey!
Silly girl, here's a taste of your own medicine. As for your pet dragon, he'd best keep his distance and mind his manners, or I'll barbecue him. But who do we have here, rushing headlong toward oblivion?
I'm a rogue lady, and I don't take kindly to people beating on my teammates.
Oh, really?
Kaboom! Okay, so what did this?
Like, what stops Rogue in her tracks, chokes her, and then kabooms her? You
Right.
know?
Right. If it's an illusion, if it's in your, I guess it's all in the head. I don't know. And then
But
their bodies are reacting to they're doing it
we're
themselves.
okay.
Nice moves, Genie. You sure ain't lost your touch.
Thank you, Wolverine. I see you've extended your claws. Care to try your luck?
Nope.
Smart move. I have some errands to run, but they shouldn't take long. When I return, we can all pick up where we left off. Logan, you did not fight.
Didn't see much sense in it, darling. We'd better have some sharp moves ready for the rematch, because I figured that scrap will be for keeps.
I agree, but first we must tend to our wounded, who aren't really. I don't know. Are they really? Anyway. Colossus, help me carry Scott to the infirmary. Kitty, contact the Starjammers. We must warn Scott's father and Princess Lilandra of the danger. Wolverine, you find Rogue. She is nowhere near as invulnerable as she likes to think. That throw may have hurt her. David says, "You're ruining a perfectly good issue with your questions." Sorry, David. Minutes later,
I've been trying to contact the Starjammers ever since Phoenix left Storm, but there's massive interference all across the spectrum. Even our laser and subspace comlinks are being scrambled. Phoenix do it, my friends.
probably. Keep at it, kitten. We must get through.
Bingo, I'm getting a response.
You do it.
X-Men, this is Corsair. Hope you can see, hear me. The Phoenix attacked, no warning. Less chance. Other Starjammers, Lilandra, dead. I'm only left. My ship, gutted, wrecked. Another pass to finish us. Here she comes. Tell Scott and his brother Alex, their old man is proud of them. Tell him I love.
Hey, have you watched that show on Netflix that it's like a comedy with oh geez, old man brain just hit. Why did I bother starting an anecdote I couldn't finish with Will Arnett as that detective, and it's an improv show.
I know you're talking about, but I have not seen it.
I want to cast Will Arnett from that show as Corsair.
As Corsair.
A burping, bloated, full of bullshit Corsair.
Yeah.
I like how the X-Men just watched Corsair die, and give his last wishes, and he's just play acting. Like it's just in his head, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's I also really like that Storm design with like her eye makeup, kind of this sort of punk mascara thing she's doing. It's fun.
Super cool.
Yeah. They really are much more of a ragtag group right now when you take that one element of Storm and change it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. David says, okay, imagine if your dad was dying and he said, tell Jason or Chris and his brother I love them. Yeah, okay. Sure. I'd be like, what's up, Dad?
Your old man's proud of you, son. Proud. Papa's proud, son.
You're up, kitty.
How could she? They were her friends. What do we do now, Storm? Who should I call next?
Avengers Mansion, Captain America speaking. I am Storm, leader of the X-Men. We need the Avengers' aid, Captain, urgently. The fate of the world, if not all creation, hangs in the balance. Give me what details you can, Storm. I'll summon the others. The threat is Dark Phoenix, a former goddess.
Comrades, look at the screen. The ground is shaking. Is it an earthquake?
Ah.
It's gone blank. The transmission has been broken. Roro, do you think...
See for yourself, little brother. For a creature who once consumed a world, 5 billion innocent souls, destroying a city is child's play. Imagine a Paul Smith Captain America comic. Like all that acrobat stuff.
Yeah, I want to see that comic.
Yeah, me too.
I do like how, I mean, I know in the chat, I know we will get about how the issue ends and where it goes to and the places it goes to. But I do also kind of like the setup where it's just like, you know what, this is end of days. Phoenix is destroying everything.
Yes.
And doing it easily because she actually has the power to do that, right?
Yes.
So it's actually like what would happen if kind of thing, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
Call those Avengers.
Call those, well, apparently don't.
Miles,
won't do anything.
Yeah, they're useless.
Yeah.
I also love like how gradually Nightcrawler has like shifted to being the team medic.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other week. Just I think which he's mentioned as the medic like last week. Like, you're the team medic. He's like, I am. Okay.
Yeah, and then if you look at it, like Kitty's the gadget kid.
Yep.
Each of them sort of has. Colossus is the artist.
That's right.
That's an important part of the team. Who would ever have a team with an artist on it? You know what I'm saying?
Or 4.
Go on. Here we go. Soon, Kitty patched into a military satellite for an aerial view of New York. There's nothing left. Manhattan is a cauldron of molten rock. The land burns where the magma touches it. And the sea boils. Magma.
Liquid hot magma.
Avengers, Fantastic Four, Doctor Strange, even the Morlocks. Yeah, that's a list that makes sense.
Yeah.
In their underground caverns. All of who might have
all the A-list heroes plus the Morlocks.
None are left. Thanks to Dark Phoenix, we are quite alone. How fare your patients, Kurt?
I've stabilized the professor. Barring complications, he should recover.
And Scott?
Physically, he is in perfect health. He shouldn't even be unconscious, yet his condition deteriorates by the minute. It's as if Phoenix stripped him of his will to live.
Is there nothing you can do?
Pray? My eyes open. Wow! I'm floating. I can see Kurt and Aurora and hear them too. They're talking about me. It doesn't sound so good either. My body lies blistered and charred from Phoenix's energy bolt. It's a sickening sight. I don't mind. That's just a shell. My essence, the real me, the part that matters, is up here, whole and untouched. Fantastic. Aurora looks so sad, trying so hard not to let it show. She reminds me of me. I want to comfort her, tell her that everything's okay. But she doesn't hear me. She can't. She's alive, and I'm not.
Before I read Stormer's part, so Kurt says physically he's in perfect health.
Mm-hmm.
He shouldn't even be unconscious. And when he talks about his body, my body lies blistered and charred.
Right, so it's the mind games.
What the heck? Okay, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let the Autodocs care for Scott and Professor Xavier, Kurt. I need you with the others.
Where's that Starjammer's robot doctor when you need him?
Yeah, that cloning dude.
Isn't that guy? That's how
that guy. He was helpful.
That's how he spoke. As they leave, the room is flooded with a blinding white radiance that gently draws me towards it. I don't resist. I don't want to. Truth to tell, I'm excited. I know I'm dying, though part of me still rages on, stubborn to the end, fighting for an extra breath, a heartbeat, a moment. But this doesn't seem so much like an end as a new beginning. Around me, I see phantom shapes, people, I suppose, who've gone before. I started looking for one in particular. Crazy as it sounds, I know she's here. I can feel her presence through the psychic rapport we shared. I see her. No, I'm wrong. It's someone else. And yet, something about her is achingly familiar.
Stop. Come no farther.
Why not?
This place is not yet for you, my darling boy.
What do you mean? Who are you anyway?
Look within yourself. There you will find your answers, and they will lead you to your heart's desire.
Wait, don't send me away. Don't let me go. As I tumble faster and faster into darkness and oblivion, I catch a last glimpse of the woman, her face outlined in a halo of fire. I hear her whispered farewell. Too late. I know her. Mom! I'm awake. I'm crying, remembering who I was, looking for how certain I was I'd find her. I suppose no matter what I said or did, I never really accepted what happened years ago, but now I have no choice. Jean is dead. But if that's so, then who or what are we up against? Last night, Madeline transformed a phoenix, blasted me, healed me. Today, Phoenix emerges from me and I get burned again? But look at me, not a scratch. Suppose I wasn't burned at all, but only thought I was? Suppose there's no Phoenix either, and we're just being tricked into believing she's returned. Well, that explained why Charles was zapped, to prevent him learning the truth. It also explained the time that passed between manifestations. Phoenix could cover the distance from Alaska to here in an instant. So why a 12-hour delay, unless someone had to fly from Anchorage to New York? But who? That someone's going to an awful lot of trouble. From all indications, his knowledge of the X-Men is as deep as his hate. He plays with reality. Nothing is what it seems. And his plan revolves around Dark Phoenix. Only one person it can be. I have to warn the X-Men and flush him into the open. With no idea of when, where, or how he'll strike next. For the moment, I have the advantage of surprise. He must believe that I'm dying. Once I show myself, he'll do anything to prevent my unmasking him. I'd better rig some aces in the hole to even the odds. Lord knows what he's done to Madeline. Doesn't matter. This time, I play by his rules. When I catch him, he's a dead man.
I wish that word, go kill him. I love how tight the folds in Cyclops' boots are. Like Byrne draws them really swashbuckler. I can't even say it. Swashbuckler.
Yeah.
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 He in that style, and so does Cochran. But these are like really tight folds, like ready for fighting, ready for killing some guy, the dead man. Yeah. 10 minutes later,
Storm, I found the answer. It isn't Phoenix we're facing. Murderous, have you come to gloat over your butchery? What are you talking about, Colossus? It's me, Cyclops. Hey! Storm's using a wind to yank me into the room. She's reacting like I'm the villain. And from the way Colossus spoke, it isn't hard to guess who. No, listen to me. You're being tricked. Nothing you see or hear is real. If so, why then should we heed your words? Brilliant, Scotty. You waltzed right into that one. Oof! Colossus wasn't pulling that punch. I felt a couple of ribs snap. I can't let him land another. I hate doing this, but even a high-power optic blast shouldn't do more than shake him up. That awesome. Right in his face.
Yeah. David Cutler says, okay, firstly, it was Sikorsky is the...
Sikorsky.
Yes. And David says, so he actually went to the afterlife? Maybe this doesn't make any sense. Shh, David, don't tell.
Not with your questions.
Yeah, we're having a perfectly good time. Don't ruin it.
Exactly.
Afterlife talk. Come on. Elf, watch it. Oh!
I figured Nightcrawler would port out of the way of my shot, enabling me to club Wolverine standing right behind him. And simultaneously, a little judo added to the force of my initial bolt should topple Colossus onto Rogue and Storm. Nightcrawler likes to tackle foes from above, so if I scythe my beam across the entire ceiling, I had to catch him just as he materializes. Bingo. Flames? Kitty's dragon. I don't know the extent of Lockheed's powers or how much punishment he can take, I can't risk fighting him as I did the X-Men. I could too easily hurt him. But since I don't want to be barbecued either, it's time I made my exit. My busted ribs are a problem I didn't anticipate. They're already starting to slow me down. Hold it, lady. You're not getting away from us that easily. I was wondering where Kitty would show up. Let's see if I can turn her attack to my advantage. Wolverine must have taught her that tackle. It hurt. You crazy? You're throwing us off the balcony.
What's that dumb kid trying to prove? Jeannie will roast her alive.
Then we must deny her the opportunity. Downstairs, X-Men, quickly.
Perfect. Kitty reacted precisely as I anticipated. I caught her off guard. She didn't think to simply let me go, and now, rather than crash to the floor and risk serious injury, she's phasing us through.
They will fall in a straight line. The next open space beneath them is the Danger Room. Arrange a proper welcome for Phoenix, Nightcrawler. If you can save Kitty as well, do so. But remember, against this foe, our lives are expendable.
Ich verstehe, Storm. That flash of light in the control booth is probably Nightcrawler, teleporting ahead of his teammates. The room systems are designed to train us, not kill. I'll have to reprogram the computers, disengage the safety interlocks. But will Phoenix give me the chance? No matter, I must at least try. Kitty instinctively solidified when we popped into open air. It's a careless move. The press will scold her for that, because before she can get her bearings, a nerve pinch will put her out of action. Oh. These airbags should cushion our landing. Forgive me what happens next, Nightcrawler. I truly wish there was some other way. Here come the others. I spent precious time after I woke up transferring the Danger Room control systems into this portable module. Here's where my gamble pays off. What the?
The room has generated a facsimile of the Savage Land. Cripes.
Using the room, I can create any environment, any set of combat conditions, literally with the press of a button.
Rogue, catch Colossus. Leave Wolverine to me.
What happened to us, Storm? Where are we?
Still in the Danger Room. What surrounds us is a sophisticated illusion, making three-dimensional holographic projections with real set pieces. What will eventually be used in a show called The Mandalorian, and they call it The Volume. But this is way back in the 80s, 40 years ago, called the Danger Room.
This ain't Jeannie's style, Storm. She can create personal, private realities with her own thoughts. Why bother using Xavier's gadgets?
Maybe she ain't as high and mighty strong as we thought, Wolvie.
Perhaps, or so she wishes us to, or she wishes us to think so, to give us false hope. Find her trail, Wolverine. Lead us to her.
Storm's made her decision. I can hear it in her voice. The same decision I'd have made, face an identical threat, even from the woman I loved. They think I'm Phoenix. They'll act first, mourn later. My problem is convincing them the truth before they blow my head off. They're 5 to my 1. But here, the odds are pretty near even. In this room, I control the shape of things. Not only the X-Men will be thrown off balance.
By the way, that picture you just passed, it's very specifically Popeye, the Sailor Man.
The Sailor Man.
It actually, like underneath, in Popeye in handwriting, the Sailor Man.
Sailor Man.
Yeah. That's a video game I do not really want to play.
No, not so much. But our true foe as well. Brilliant, Cyclops. You never cease to amaze me. What better ploy to use against a master illusionist than your own illusions? Such a pity they won't save you. Good afternoon, Ms. Pryor. I trust you're enjoying the show.
Am I crazy?
Not unless I wish you to be.
My clothes, this place, am I dead? Is this hell?
No and yes.
Who are you?
Jason Wingard, ma'am, at your service. Or, as the X-Men know me mastermind. I am a villain, and very soon now, with your assistance, I shall destroy my oldest, most hated foes, the X-Men.
The throne, the fire, gone.
They were never here. Where I am concerned, my dear, nothing is as it seems. Reality is what I choose to make of it.
And everyone in it merely pawns for your amusement?
Precisely.
Why? What's this all about?
Revenge. I have convinced the X-Men that Dark Phoenix has resurrected herself and embarked on a murderous rampage. I shall further convince them, as I've already done with Scott, that you, my dear, are Phoenix. To save the universe, they will kill you and thereby destroy themselves. They will have slain not only an innocent, but Scott Summers' beloved. It is a moral blow from which they will never recover.
I won't let you.
And how will you stop me? For all you know, Madeline, I'm not even in this room. If indeed the room itself is not an illusion. Or perhaps you have gone insane. You certainly have reason enough. 378 people, passengers entrusted to your care, dead at your hands.
Shut up! That was an accident. I tried my best to save them. It wasn't my fault I survived.
Considering the fate I have in store for you, child, better you had perished with your aircraft.
Why? Why me?
I behold your face and see Jean Grey, Phoenix, and my own damnation. She made me one with the cosmos, and I touched the face, the power, the glory of God. But such an experience is not for mortal man. It drove me mad. Eventually, I recovered, forever cursed with the memory of what I'd been and could never be again. Thanks to Phoenix, my life is an unending torment from which not even death will be a release. I cannot avenge myself on her, but I can make those who loved her, the X-Men, suffer in her place.
He's got a hard-on for those guys.
Oh, yeah. Monologuing. I've been stalking the X-Men for months in a variety of guises, gently taunting and tormenting them, laying the groundwork of my master plan, as well as taking time to pay back some old scores of former colleagues like Father O'Brien over here. I'd planned to use whomever was Scott's girlfriend for my ultimate deception. Whomever. I mean, maybe Scott wasn't going to see anybody. Maybe it was Lee. Would have been Lee, the captain,
That's right.
Ship captain. Your uncanny resemblance to Jean Grey provided a delightfully unexpected irony. It took very little effort to persuade the lad that you were his dead enamorada reincarnate. He was half convinced of it from the moment you met. I must confess, Madeline, you are a lovely creature. It's almost a shame to sacrifice you when we could make such beautiful music together.
Scott? How did you get here?
Magic.
Quit joking. We're in terrible danger. A man named Mastermind is here. Scott! With a mocking devil-may-care laugh, Scott pulls Madeline close and kisses her. Despite herself, she responds, matching his considerable passion. Oh, until...
Surprise! I used to look like this, but I prefer the Wingard physiognomy. Nope.
Yeah, physiognomy is right.
Physiognomy. Had I wished, though, I could have made you love me. Whatever my appearance, I may yet do so. Won't that be fun?
To me, my ex-friend, says Jason Lowe, discoverer of Robert Munch. So happy you got to meet that guy. That's really... And thanks for sharing that on social media too, Jason. It was very easy to be happy for you. So thank you for sharing that. Do I hear the sultry voice of Jason Wingard? Well, ask yourself this question, Jason Lowe. Are you aroused? If the answer is yes, then yes, you hear Jason Wingard as performed by the one and only Chris Sanagan. And I'll tell you, if you think he sounds sultry to your ears, Jason Lowe, I'm going to tell you, I can see Chris off like through the camera and watch his performance. he's doing all sorts of hand gestures and like body movements to go with the voice.
I'm also not wearing a shirt.
So if you think just the voice is sultry and enticing, you got to sit one day in the driver's seat here and you can actually watch Chris perform. It is quite the sight. Oh my God. And Jason says, I was. By that, I'm assuming he means he was aroused.
Ooh.
Yes. Moving on. And in the danger room, Cyclops runs for his life.
I don't have to worry about Nightcrawler teleporting or Kitty phasing in front of me. And the dense jungle undergrowth will not only slow my pursuers in the ground, but keep Rogue and Storm from spotting me from the air. I dare not get overconfident, though. I may have programmed this simulation, but I'm as much of a part of it as the X-Men. If I'm not careful, I can be clobbered as easily as them. Also, the room really isn't that big. I can't run or hide forever.
You know what move is really hard to do with broken ribs?
Flipping over a tree branch?
It hurts so much.
Oh, 2 broken ribs. Yeah. Can you sent a quarry tovarish?
Flaming rooms neutralized my sense of smell, but Jeannie ain't exactly bothering to hide her scent.
How considerate of her.
Yeah, watch yourself, pal.
He's not the primary threat to me, Wolverine. You are. Ambush! What a great...
Scram.
What a great image. He just drives him into the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a great image. That takes care of Wolverine. Not for very long. I've got no time to waste. The idea is to keep the X-Men off my back, but still leave them able to fight by my side when I finally confront Mastermind. Why do you run, murderers? Face me. Surely I'm not that formidable a foe. You'll do till one comes along, Colossus. That shot I took from you pretty near finished me. It's been a while since I pushed myself this hard. I'm out of shape. Even without my cracked ribs, and it's costing me. I'm slowing down, losing strength and agility. Try as you might, you will not escape our vengeance. Want to bet, big fella? Bottom what? Quicksand! So far, so good.
So this is the second comic book I've read today on YouTube that has quicksand as like a plot device. Speaking of that, did you see which episode was on Cartoonist Kayfabe this morning?
I did not.
Action Comics annual number 1. The one with Skeeter.
Oh, Skeeter, yeah. Oh, no, I'll have to watch that episode.
For sure. I thought of you right away.
At Fan Expo last year, Arthur Adams was, when I had him sign my copy of it, mentioned that this one was super popular here in Toronto. Everyone had a copy of it for him to sign.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that could be. Like, what would enable that to happen?
Something.
But I love it. And so his sketchbook that he printed up for last year's con season.
Yeah.
Skeeter's on the cover. Like a modern drawing of Skeeter on the cover. That character appeared in that one comic in 87, 88, and whatever year, 86.
Some of the best Batman. That's Byrne, right? Byrne writing and
Byrne writing. Yeah, I was reading it, along with the guys this morning, and it just really reminded me of remember that Byrne writes Hellboy, he scripts the early issues of Hellboy, and I was like, in a lot of ways, it feels like a proto Hellboy comic.
Yeah,
like they're going after the monster of the week.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And like going to this small town, there's a character, there's a bit of a twist. It's much worse than you think it is, and the hero is very matter of fact about having to clean it up.
Oh yeah,
got to deal with the unpleasantness. Here we go. Stick around if you want to watch. Anyway,
I love Chuck's comment here, by the way.
If Cyclops really wanted to take Peter out, he'd appear as 2 Savage Land. Oh yeah,
solid.
Do you remember? So there was this, when the X-Men, when this group first goes to the Savage Land, just to back up on Chuck's good joke, they go to the Savage Land, and Peter, when they're like recovering from their ordeal with really with escaping Magneto's volcanic lair, and he goes off like he's talking to the locals. And then in the John Bolton and Chris Claremont backup story in the classic X-Men, you see that like Peter goes off with two of them and then they face a dinosaur and it kills one of them, and then they want to like say thank you. Anyway, good times. And yeah, and then we're gonna see later on in one of the X-Men annuals when they go back to the Savage Land, there's like a 4-year-old kid.
A 4-year-old kid
named Peter.
Steel.
Yeah, a 4-year-old kid named Peter, and like the mom says, "Oh yeah, I named him after his father." It's good times. It was such a fun. Yeah, there was those little Easter eggs. Like as a kid, putting those pieces together was a joy. I made sure all my friends saw. It was a good time. Skeeton in Superman's face. Yeah. Totally.
All right.
Quicksand.
So far, so good. But the last lap's the hardest. That cave's the exit. My illusions work against me now. It's barely a dozen yards away, yet it seems like miles. I can't move too fast either. I don't want to be spotted. My breathing mask's in place. A wind rising behind me. Storm. Hers is a long-range power. She'll strike first. Probably with lightning. Here it comes.
Phoenix can fly. Why does she remain on the ground? Is this some perverse game, or could there be some other explanation?
Missed, but only barely. I mistimed my move. That bolt should fried me. The storm hesitated fractionally. She threw it off target. Has she seen through Wingard's deception? Has she begun to doubt? Got her.
This drawing of Storm, by the way, is the one that was used in the official Marvel handbook.
Okay.
A picture of her, in action.
Why is he wearing a mask?
You're about to find out. So he planned it.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Really, it's COVID.
That's why. Right. It's also COVID. Good call. Okay. Too bad you ain't awake to see this rescue storm. If I was the evil mutant you still believe me to be, I'd let you go spat all over the floor. Time for our rematch, sweetheart. Perfect. She's right where I want her. A wide-angle shot should fill the air with Oz poppy dust. Given Rogue's natural invulnerability, nothing less than full-power optic blast would even begin to phase her. A solution, bypass her powers and strike where she's vulnerable, with a batch of Wizard of Oz poppies, specifically keyed to affect her mutant's physiology. I pulled her medical file when I programmed the danger room. One whiff of dust and she's fast asleep. Bless the professor redesigning the room. I couldn't have done any of this in the original. Everything's set. As soon as I exit, the computers will shut down the entire house, including the surveillance systems. Mastermind's no doubt been using to watch the show. He won't know where I am. He'll have to come after me.
Jason says, dinosaur farts and poops all around.
Yes.
Chuck says, remind me, how tall is the danger room? 200-300 feet? That's a really good point. It's not nearly as tall as the distance between the characters, but that's where its own holodeck technology allows characters who are sitting next to each other to think they're much further away. But of course, this doesn't work when a character has like distance strike abilities, because you're going to, aim for a particular distance, and when it doesn't work, you have to recalibrate for how you shoot. The danger room does not make sense. So we're just going to pretend, okay? If that's all right with you guys. I'm willing to suspend my disbelief on that one. Just for fun. Maybe we can say the danger room is magic. That might be actually easier.
Might be easier.
The infirmary.
Rogue's the key to my plan. It was reading her file that gave me the idea. The professor's still unconscious. In his condition, I can't risk waking him. Rogue has the power to absorb another person's memories and abilities just by touching them. She can't control herself either. The slightest contact initiates a transfer. I should be able then to shift Xavier's psi powers to her without doing him any physical harm. The risk is to Rogue and me.
she might not be able to handle suddenly becoming a telepath. In her panic, she could easily burn out my mind. Unfortunately, I can't see any alternative. Well, here we go. No!
Her scream mixes rage and terror as her world shatters. Thoughts, emotions, lives, none her own, flood her brain. She is drowning, losing all sense of self, tumbling gratefully towards oblivion. One voice makes itself heard above the multitude, gentle but unyielding, showing her how to restore order to the madcap chaos of her brain. Scott uses everything taught him by Xavier. Everything learned through the psychic rapport he shared with Jean Grey. The strain is terrible, the pain worse, made no less because it is shared.
You want to put the kid down, darling?
Wolverine, all of you must not believe what you see.
Your senses, your thoughts are playing you false. You're being tricked. If I'm Phoenix, why am I bothering to talk to you? Why run from you? I've given Rogue Xavier's psi powers. I'll open my mind to her. Let her touch your thoughts as well. You'll see the truth. Zach, no. Suppose I make a mistake or they don't believe me. I still don't know what I'm doing. Relax, Rogue. Follow my lead. You'll be okay. A mind link already exists between us. Simply expand it to include the others. You're not facing Phoenix, X-Men. That is Rogue's voice in my head. Hey, Pete. It's Cyclops, can't you see? We've been suckered.
How do we know this ain't a trick?
Because, little man, trickster's right behind you.
No dice, Mastermind. The game's over. Your Phoenix can no more fool us than harm us.
Brave words, my love.
You're an illusion, a fake. You can only hurt us if we let you. See?
But suppose from the heart of the supposed illusion there comes a most deadly piece of reality.
A gunshot. Silencer equipped, so no one to hear it.
Wolvie.
Oh, sorry.
That's it. Maybe I'm doing this wrong, but my side probe is registered for nothing from Phoenix. Almost as if she doesn't exist.
Yeah? There's also a portion of this room, a kind of dead zone that my senses can't focus on. I felt the same thing when Xavier was zapped, but never got the chance to figure it out since things happened too fast. Storm! Psych's on the level. And Mastermind's in here with us.
Then, my friend, I must ensure that he remain. In the blink of an eye, before anyone present can react, Storm summons all the elemental forces at her command, filling the room around her with a tempest of unimaginable fury, seemingly without regard for friend or foe.
Get away, Katya. Well, you can. I won't leave you. Do as I say. I will be fine. I've got Xavier. I'll protect him. But for how long? This Gale's getting worse every second. Storm, for the love of mercy, no more. You're killing us. I'm safe, but what about the others? If Storm destroys the infirmary, even if she defeats Mastermind in the process, how can we help whoever's injured? Or is she under that creep's control? Maybe this is part of his plan, to have Aurora do his dirty work.
This should be sufficient. Once, creating such a tempest would have left me exhausted. But violent weather comes easily to me now. Does that make me sad or happy? Or worst of all, do I not even care? Mastermind knew nothing of how I have changed. He assumed I was still the woman he fought years ago. A fatal miscalculation.
I've had enough of this, sucker. I hope you enjoy playing with our heads, bub. 'Cause you'll never get another chance.
Logan, no!
Back off, woman. It's no lesson he deserves.
We are not executioners.
You looked awful ready a minute ago.
That was in the heat of battle. But he is helpless now. It would be murder, Logan. It would make us no better than him. Find some drugs to keep him unconscious until the professor can devise more permanent means of restraint.
My side powers are fading, but I can still send some thoughts. To start Mastermind, Aurora is ready not only to kill him, but sacrifice a lot of us as well. Ugh, what a mess. Hey guys, I got an emergency medical kit from upstairs. He had a cut you. Cyclops has been shot. I'll live, big fella. Is everyone else okay? Where's Madeline? She's limp. She's not breathing. I can't feel a pulse. No, she can't be dead. I won't allow it. I was forced to stand by helplessly and watch Jean die. But not again. Breathe, Madeline. Come on. That's my love. I dragged myself back to life for you. Do the same for me. Breathe.
Scott?
Here, darling. I'm here.
Hi.
By yourself.
Okay, quick question, just to tease. When Kitty is got the medical kit there, water is up past her knees.
Yep.
Madeline is face down in water that's like just above the ankle for Cyclops.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's cool. Yeah. Alright, just here we go. Oh, look at that.
Epilogue. The Cemetery of St. Stephen's Chapel, Bard College in upstate New York.
I know your body isn't here, Jean. It's scattered molecular dust on the moon. But I like to think your spirit rests here, near where you were born, in this land you loved, America. We had such dreams. We figured we'd live forever. I loved you, Jean. I love Madeline. I'm glad she isn't you. What we had was magic. I'll treasure it always. Now Madeline and I have a chance to create our own magic, to make what is as unique and special as what was. I hope you understand. Goodbye, Jean. Farewell, my heart.
Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, later that afternoon. It's a gathering the like of which has rarely been seen. As X-Men, old and new, join Xavier's younger students, the new mutants, and friends and relatives to celebrate the marriage of Scott Summers and Madeline Pryor, and one of the worst drawings of the beast we've seen since early Dave Cockrum X-Men. Nervous, big brother?
Scared stiff.
Whoa.
Why'd I agree to this big production, Alex? Why didn't we elope?
Too late to back out now. Wait, before you go into this, Can you do this guy as if he's in The Princess Bride?
We'll try.
Yeah, Eli says Beast looks like Norm from Cheers.
All right, here we go. I'm going to try this. All right.
Okay.
If everyone is ready, shall we begin? All right.
Our grandsons are handsome men, eh, Philip? Especially Scott.
Takes that result, man, Deborah.
I've never been so happy.
Nor have I, Mom. If only Kate had lived to see this day.
And watching from synchronous orbit, Christopher Summers' fellow Starjammers who were not invited.
Chris, thinking about wife, Scott Boy's mother.
Fond memories doth not mean he loves thee any less, even though we weren't invited.
Is that Chode speaking?
Or Chode's thing.
How does Chode's thing speak?
Only you know.
I don't know.
Make it Chode then. Look at those lips on him. Holy cow.
Will we leave it or soon? Perhaps never to return. I wonder if Scott still wants to come.
Maid of honor, huh, kid? Better luck this time.
And hey, Sikorsky's in the background, by the way.
Oh yeah.
There he is. Sorry. Oh, Logan, it isn't fair. You love Lady Mariko so much. Why did she refuse you at the altar? I'd give anything to put things right between you two.
A gentle fanfare heralds the entrance of the bride.
Got the ring, Alex?
What's it worth to you?
Want to die, Alex? Wow.
Yeah. David says, I was going to say Beast looks like the nasal voice guy from Princess Bride. That's funny. Inconceivable. And Chuck says, it's not Chode. It's that Christopher Plummer in Star Trek 6 guy who's saying that last bit of voice. Okay, maybe. It's actually with Sikorsky, I think, doing the fond memories thing.
Oh, you're right. Deep memories, Doth. You're totally right.
But then the one that would be the Christopher Plummer in Star Trek 6 guy, Undiscovered Country, is the word balloon isn't going to him. It's going to like either to Chode or Chode's little thing.
And the Raza is like that. Talks like a Shakespearean actor. So you'd think that doth he not love thee less? It would be like that's why we read it.
You're right. That it shouldn't be electronic.
It's a mistake in this issue. I'm calling it.
Fair enough. Jason says, always love me some Starjammers representation. Big time. I'm going to love them as well. Eli, all the way from California. One hasn't lived since you've heard Shakespeare in the original Klingon. Yes, or until you've heard. Yes. Good. Yeah, that's a good pull from that movie. A great movie, by the way. Fantastic movie. Chode's friend Kree can only say Kree. So I think we can say it's Chode who's supposed to say that line then.
Right.
Yeah, it's Chode talking. I would agree. And then so we're saying that the Sikorsky word balloon is the error. It should be going to Raza. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Want to die, Alex? I like that.
Okay, here we go again. Princess Bride. Let's try this. Okay.
I believe in you.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered together here in the sight of God, in the face of the congregation, to join together this man and this woman in holy matrimony.
Again, you guys are missing the video.
Oh, right.
Oh my god. Oh my god. You look just like Admiral Akbar. That was really good. There's more, by the way.
Oh.
Therefore, if anyone can show any just cause why they may not lawfully be joined together, let him now speak, or else hereafter forever hold his peace.
If it's tiring, you can stop.
No, I know. We gotta keep going.
Wilt thou, God Summers, have this woman to be thy wedded wife, to live together after God's ordinance in the holy estate of matrimony? Wilt thou love her, comfort her, honor and keep her in sickness and in health, and forsaking all others, keep thee only until her so long as ye both shall live?
I will.
Wilt thou, Madeline Jennifer Pryor, have this man to be thy wedded husband?
I will.
Those whom God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. In the name of the Father and the Son, of the Holy Ghost, and under the powers vested in me by the state of New York, I hereby proclaim you to be man and wife.
Jason, what accent is that?
It's not an accent. It's trying to be the priest from
Princess Bride.
Princess Bride.
Another Jason's here. Hey man, how you doing? He's like,
I
wow.
wow.
I'm not sure if it's a good wow or a bad wow. David says, I really feel bad for X-Men fans who don't tune in this weekly. And Chuck and Eli are dying. As am I. Chris, you are a brave, brave soul. That was hilarious. I wonder.
He doesn't even say the word love. I could have said the love to love.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You could have also just snuck it in if you really needed to.
I guess I could have.
No one would have begrudged you for that.
Yeah.
And if, by the way, anyone here has not seen The Princess Bride, you kind of can't find a better movie in with the genres that it covers. You know, it is fantastic and worth a yearly viewing. It's a great movie. Yep. Mass says also you're killing him. Did you notice, sir, when it transitioned from Paul Smith to John Romita Jr.?
I didn't, and I had to go back to look.
I wonder if there also were a few panels that like JR snuck in earlier, like if they just like he kind of ran out of time. There were a few faces that reminded me more of JR than Paul Smith along the way, but the moment that you can do it is when Gene says the trickster is right behind you. Oh, it's like your
right. Okay, all right.
I think that's your first big one.
Let's see.
Where I'm positive it is like JR.
Oh yeah, you're right. That Phoenix shape.
And also like Scott, like look at the nostrils on that. That's, yeah.
Yeah, good point.
That one's an easy one to spot as far as like that being for sure him.
Mm-hmm.
But it is interesting to me how much or how informative Paul Smith's models were to JR and his style. Like he sticks with that model for the characters. He kind of draws that version of Cyclops all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And he always kind of that lean, that slim version of him, and Colossus too. They modified Kitty in her hairstyle changes, but and Stormy keeps on the model as well. Chuck says, "Yeah, there was at least one JR panel early on, and a couple of Paul Smith panels later. I wonder, like, if he does layouts for things like this big smooch at the end, if he has a hand in that, maybe early on." But it's neat, very neat. JR is really trying to match Smith's out of costume Scott, so it's easy to miss in the wedding. Agreed. He keeps that hairstyle all the way too. And then, like the last couple issues, the letter column is done in the voice of Professor Xavier. So it's kind of fun, but nothing too huge to read there. Double issue. And it's only 10:23. You really you bore the lion's share of the workload with a Herculean ending.
I don't even.
Congratulations.
Apologies though, there, folks, for that one. That was an attempt of one of my favorite movies. I mean, I think there's a lot of love for Princess Bride, but
big time. No, it's a great movie. Really hard to find ones. Any movie that's like it, that's better. That is doing what it's doing. You know.
Right. Totally.
Really fantastic film, and Laura and I watch it whenever we can.
Yeah, we're the same. It's like if we have like an hour and a half and it's a movie, it's like Princess Bride. Throw it on.
Yeah, it's a great one. Anything you want to talk about before we move on? Any closing thoughts? Or it looks like you got one there.
No, I don't think. I mean,
you put your finger up.
I did. I mean, I'm sad to see It's funny because again, like we have these moments in these in this run, or at least just even in the comics we've looked at, where it feels like, and now that's the end of the X-Men story, right? It's like with a wedding, it's like, and nothing bad will ever happen again, and now we move on. So that's an interesting kind of closure point. 175 too. It's also a nice number. I don't know what's coming next, so I'm quite excited to keep going. I'm a bit, I'm, as we talked about at the beginning, I'm a little sad to see Paul Smith go, but a lot of love and respect for JR too. So excited to see how that evolves. I think those are kind of like my thoughts on it. I guess I don't know.
I can tell you, so you don't know what's coming next. I'll tell you.
Oh, it's more brood. Sleazoids.
X-Men Annual 7.
Oh, isn't that who's that guy? It's the Impossible Man.
Mm-hmm.
Is that who it is?
It is, which will make it a very different kind of story. And JR does the cover, but the interiors are Michael fucking Golden.
Okay.
So we're going to get some amazing pencils next week, inked by the largest list of inkers on a single issue that one can imagine. So everyone lays a hand on these pages. We're going to get some X-Men playing baseball, like classic. We're going to get scenes with every character you can imagine, including we're going to get some Galactus. We're going to get some Nick Fury. We're going to get Dum Dum Dugan.
Oh, okay.
Kazar.
Oh.
We're going to get Doctor Strange, Iron Man, She-Hulk. Like, the next issue is, or this Annual 7, is bonkers. It's lousy with characters. I think Sebastian Shaw, is that who that is?
Sebastian Shaw.
Looks like Sebastian Shaw. We're going to see everybody. And it's going to be a real treat, to look at Michael Golden's pencils. And we're also going to get the crew at Marvel Comics.
Okay. What's that mean?
Because it's Assistant Editors Month, I believe. So a whole bunch of people are not around to do their job. So the assistant editors are handling things. Yeah, there's a lot of that looks like Larry Hama. Yeah, it's wild. I should stop talking about it. We'll read it next time.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff. Jason says, Golden, let's go. Chuck says, oh golly, I forgot about that annual. David says, I've never read Annual 7. I saw Impossible Man on the cover and said, no thanks. I didn't know it was Golden. I'm going to tell you something right now, David Cutler. I've had this comic for decades. Never opened it because the cover was a turnoff. But when I have it in this thing, I'm like, that's Michael Golden. So I know it's coming up, and it's wild. It's really wild to see what's going on. Impossible Man is like your, Mixel-Pitlick kind of chaos character, like your little devil. And so it usually is like outside of the rules of everything. So I don't usually enjoy those kinds of stories. But Michael Golden, seeing him go to play is just a complete joy. It's going to be bonkers. So we're going to do 1,000,001 voices next week. And
Strap in.
Yeah, there's scenes of the X-Men at the pool. There are and Magnum PI is in this issue as well.
Yep. There's Magnum. Oh wow, look at that.
It's wild. It's wild. Chuck says, was Assistant Editors Month when Bird did the Sideways issue of FF? Perhaps. It also might be the one when he did like Alpha Flight, where it was mostly white. The Snowblind issue.
That's right.
Jason says, damn, never judge an X-Men annual book by its cover. You make a good point. Yeah. Assistant Editors Month needs to come back. Fred Hembeck. Yeah, I love Fred Hembeck as well. I will show you that the list of inkers is right there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, everybody.
Hey, Bob Wiacek.
Yeah, Bob Wiacek's there and Rubenstein. So,
Hey, you know what he did, right? Wolverine Limited Series, right?
Yeah, he did. He also gets credit. Yeah, he takes credit for everything. That was wild. So
that was wild.
Finally, in hand, envelopes are stuffed. Mail's going out. That's very exciting. So it's here. Really happy with the way it turned out. It came out in print exactly as we had hoped. It's got a nice, beautiful thickness to it. Just to compare for anyone out there who has the original TP, this new edition is on different paper, and it's a hefty little book, and I'm really digging it. So glad it's here, and I think it's gonna be sold out soon. Actually, I have a good feeling.
I hope so. Yeah. Thanks again to those in the chat. Well, for sticking around tonight too, but also for helping out and helping with the crowdfunder. There's a number of you there, and a number of you waiting on some books, so they are on their way.
Yeah, we're very, very grateful for everyone's support. So thank you out there for that. If you're looking to find our comics, you can find them at groupofsevencomics.ca.
Mm-hmm.
And remember the number 7 as opposed to the word. You can also find us on Instagram at group of 7comics or at Chris Sanagan or at Jason Lapidus. That works as well. You can always throw a comment in the comments below. All those kinds of things.
And I do want to say quickly before we go, I haven't done this in a while, so just bear with me here. I love to shout at the people who subscribe to our channel because I've got their information. I've listened to a few, so I just want to say big shout out thanks to Carl Cooper, Jay Andrews 88, The Great Spid, Oscar Hernandez, Nigel Downer, Kilted Corgi, Alex Rios, Nick Lastronaut, it's our friend Nick, Rabbit Raccoon, John McCormick, Brandon Rodriguez, Adriano Knupp, and Daz the Comic Key Chaser. I believe that's where we're all caught up through. So anyway, thank you to everyone who subscribes. Really appreciate it. In fact, it's interesting. Tell all your friends, subscribe and like and do all those great things, because as we look at our numbers and we can see our metrics and our data for YouTube, like all the things are really going well. And we get to do more things. We get more subscribers. So it's a pitch to, if you have any friends out there, hit that subscribe.
Thank you. Yeah, please do that. Great reading of one of my favorite issues, in spite of it making little sense. I think the core of it does make a lot of sense, that they are being manipulated and it's an illusion. But the nuance of how those illusions work.
Yeah, he's also like another power level, right? It's like he's on another power, and I don't know if it's because of the way that he interacted with Phoenix and she melted his mind, but he's on the power level seems way off the charts.
Well, he really doesn't make an illusion. He just makes you think you see something, or makes you think you experience something. So he can. I just don't know how he makes a character. I don't know, believe that they're injured when they're not. I guess if he can manipulate things at the sensory input, convince a body that it's hurt when the body isn't. Yeah. But a few of the power things, when you get punched by a character that doesn't have that power set, I don't know how you physically are thrown. But it really doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't take away from the enjoyment of reading it for me. But if we're gonna try and put that lens on, it doesn't hold for me. But it didn't matter. David says it's the one time Claremont writes Psyche as a super badass, but a full force punch from Colossus should have caved his chest in. Ha ha! Yes, joke's on you, Cyclops, with your caved-in chest.
It definitely, David's a good point. It reminded me a lot of, the Batman takes down the Justice League stuff, right? Where he's got a contingency for everybody. And similar, like Cyclops is walking us through, Nightcrawler attacks from above, so I'm going to do this. I knew he was going to port, so I could take Wolverine up behind him. You know what I mean? It was very, you're right. We don't get to see him do that and kind of be badass like that. So it was a really cool and deliberate and why he was field leader for so long,
Sure.
So it's always nice.
And the benefit of that, right?
Yeah.
What all the things he's picked up. Jason wants to talk Marvel Legends. So I'm out of curiosity. I did not bring any upstairs with me because my action figures are supposed to be in the basement. And even though there's some in the room, I didn't bring any issue-specific figures. I just have the ones that are kicking around with me, like Blacksuit Spidey is here. But I do have that Storm, which is a good figure. But it's that Cyclops that needs the update. There's a new body for Cyclops, and when they put out this costume, I really need that Cyclops on the new Buck and a Rogue that matches that era. And that will make a huge difference. And then, more Kitty Prides are always good. But I'm wondering what Marvel Legends are on your mind when you read this, Jason. What's coming up that makes you want to talk action figures? There is, of course, a Mastermind that came in, I believe, a set with a bunch of random X-Men bad guys, like Callisto.
But it's a brown cloaked Mastermind.
Or are there two? Is there the Jason Wingard pretty version in the Hellfire set. I can't remember which ones come in the Hellfire set. Those are two packs, like Amazon exclusive packs, that I never got either one. David says, here's my Marvel Legends theory. Other than MCU waves, the line is dunzo. Just gonna get 2 and 3 packs through online channels. What? You think it's finished? There's no more?
He said it was a theory.
But they just got those new pinless stuff going on, and I don't know. I hope your theory is wrong. I'm still enjoying the line, and there are still more figures to improve. With Cyber as well. Cyber, Callisto, Mastermind, and nothing. I got nothing in here. Wolverine with no shirt on, battle damage.
Ooh,
Was it a 4-pack or a 5? Who else was in that? So, yeah, David says, he really does think that's what's going on. We'll see this weekend at PulseCon if they don't announce huge things. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
All right. Topless Wolverine. There you go. This is a pack I believe that our friend Kevin got to review from Hasbro, like first. He got to reveal the Wolverine. I remember he was sent the what do you call it? The prototype with like the markings on it that were before it goes into production. It was cool.
That's cool.
Anyway, there you go. I don't know what other Marvel Legends talk. I don't have much on my mind, and I actually have to admit, I kind of want to go watch Ahsoka.
Have you? That's what I'm gearing up to do after this. I think. Yeah.
I'm assuming you watched last week's.
Yes. Yeah. I'm up to date. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun fan service in that one.
Total.
Yeah. I thought everything that wasn't in the world between worlds, everything that wasn't that was really boring for me. But I'm still loving watching Ahsoka, even though it's not my favorite thing. If Hasbro can make a Crossfire figure, they can build a Leech and Artie. Yeah, I agree. Artie and Leech as little kids, two ugliest figures in the world. I need Ahsoka in the tub. Oh, Uncle David, what's happening here?
The RDRR.
On that note, then, thank you everyone for hanging out tonight. I hope everyone is good. Go watch Ahsoka on Disney Plus if you can, if you want to. That's where I'm definitely headed at this moment. And we'll see you next week, of course. I hope everyone is well, and we appreciate you hanging out with us. And go X-Men, as much of that in our lives as we can get. And Chris, hope you're good. Hope everything goes well for you this week, and we'll see everyone next time on Previously an X-Men. And thank you. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. Have a good one. Be good to each other.